Welcome to the Talk Our Way Out podcast, guys. We got our friendly neighborhood, Kyle, Matt, and Dustin. Today we're going to be talking about Instagram giving it for kids. We're going to be talking about our government acting like kids, and then we're going to be kids, and we're going to talk about the new Mario movie coming up, so stay tuned for that.
Oh, boy.
Oh, welcome back. Holy, guess what? We're starting now.
Hola,
Kyle's showing up. He's got a little bit more intense of a beverage. You know, he didn't go for the strawberry frap this time. That was totally his decision, and I didn't buy it for him. He's going with the Kronenberg Blanc.
Yes. The good stuff. The $3.25 for a tall can instead of the $2 that I normally pay.
Kyle doesn't fuck around. He's ready to get fucking drunk right now. Let's go.
Yeah, all I need
Here
is
to party.
He's just trying to make up because when we were teenagers, he was always there with Twisted Teas, and I would call him out for all the Twisted Teas and the Vex that he would drink. Kyle loved Vex.
I would fuck with Vex. Twisted Teas, I just felt I was always pissed off with Twisted Teas because they weren't good. Vex, I was like, it was still good. It was very much a bitch pop, but it was delicious. Now I
remember the first time. Okay, so my first drinking story doesn't really count because I didn't drink anything because I don't drink.
Yeah.
Still haven't.
You have a drinking story?
I've never drank. So that literally, there's no first drinking story for me. But first drinking story is actually Ryan's first drinking story.
Yeah.
Okay.
My boy Ryan, he had a bottle of Vex that he hid in my fucking closet once he was done with it. My mom found it. She's like, "What the fuck is this?" And I was like, "Don't even ask me." She was embarrassed for him, so none of us got in shit.
Yeah.
It was pretty tough.
But the reason I'm drinking the beer for this one is tomorrow's the last day before Sober October.
Yeah.
I've been doing this for about 4 years now. And this is the first time I'm not going to have any like physical component to it. But I'm going no beer, no weed, no drinking coffee. I'm definitely having caffeine pills because I ain't crashing a forklift at 4 o'clock in the morning. Sober October.
You could try just sleeping better.
Why wouldn't you go for coffee over caffeine pills? Like, isn't it better to have a natural source of caffeine than to have a synthetic pill?
I have no idea. This isn't
Matt's
science.
a fitness guy. Matt, tell me what's better.
Well, I'll tell you what. I don't know. But yeah, when I was in the gym all the time, I used to take the caffeine pills because they work better, they hit harder, and
hard and fast. Like
they digest quicker, basically, right?
Oh hell
so
yeah!
All of a sudden, you're just you're ready.
Buddy at work.
What pills?
Wait,
wrong
pills.
Up from the morning.
Oh no!
But then my last component is I'm gonna fucking learn how to read. No,
Kyle's gonna learn how to read, and maybe his conversations will get better.
Yeah, I got 2 books that I'm gonna be going off. They were both 20% off at Walmart.
Green Eggs and Ham.
Yeah.
No,
Good night,
I know that. I know that one off by heart. No. One's about the art of persuasion.
Oh, that's a good one. Yep.
So it's like the 5 rules to kind of like that course that you took about like teaching you how to trick everybody into believing you're right.
Tricking everyone. It's using logic against them.
No, manipulating a conversation. Yes, that's what I'm learning as well. And then the other one is like I don't even know what the fuck it's about. I just bought it because it's 20% off. And
Maxim?
like I'll figure it out. I don't know. I think Maxim's at least 50% off.
Who buys those anymore? That's such a like. If I see someone that actually has like a modern day like Playboy magazine, I'm like, are you a pilgrim?
Yeah.
Do you masturbate like a pilgrim?
How poor do you have to be to not have Wi-Fi?
What a waste of time, mess, and evidence. That's the worst part.
Yeah, you can't go
incognito.
still a thing, eh?
There's still like a demographic for it.
Yeah,
that's
weird.
odd.
I don't get it at all. Guys, weekly updates. Kyle, what are we up to this week?
Well, you can't really see it. I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but I smashed my head open again. So,
this is like a consistent thing, man.
It is. It's all the time.
Dummy.
Like, there's only one time that's happened that it wasn't my fault because we got hit when we were in the car, but every other time it's basketball. And like, it was top of my head. So basically, I routinely skip family events to go play basketball. And it's become a little bit of a joke amongst a bunch of the family. So we were at the little 4-year-old girl's birthday party.
And Kyle had to go dunk on the mini hoop.
Yeah. But we're not talking about that yet. But the party, it was actually pretty sick because we get there and go through the gate, and then this fucking crane follows us, and I'm like, what the hell is this?
That's extra.
It's a construction family, so they brought a crane and hooked up the piñata to it so that we could have something.
That's
easier
so
to move.
unnecessary, but cool.
Oh, it's so unnecessary. Work safe would be freaking out because we got little kids underneath it trying to fucking hit it. But then after that, they had a pony come, a little miniature pony, which was pretty sick.
That's pretty extra.
All the kids they're like, okay, we have to be really respectful of the horse. One person grab a carrot, bring it over at a time. All fucking 10 of the kids.
Yeah, you can't tell.
Ramming
the
the carrots at the horse, and
Yeah.
the lady's like, hey, like maybe take a second, and the fucking horse is going crazy. Ends up starting like freaking out.
Yeah,
he
he's
just
like-
ate too much.
He's like, so much stimuli.
Yeah.
And then Brooklyn ended up getting a little ride on it, and all I
Nice.
could think of is like, I need to make a lot more money if she likes horses. Like, I'm
Horse
not.
people are a different thing.
Yeah,
right?
I'm not
So-
high enough in the middle class to get a horse.
Yeah.
But yeah, so a bunch of the guys are like, hey, like, I heard you don't generally come to these because you got to play ball. I'm like, yeah, that's very accurate. And then they said they had a hoop out front, so we start playing.
I love
And-
how they're like, yeah, you don't normally come to these because you play ball. Yeah. Hey, you want to ditch and go play ball?
Yeah, I'm like, I'm
They're
down.
just waiting for that excuse, man.
So we're playing, and I end up I'm a basketball player. They weren't really basketball players. There's one that kind of did, and he was on the other team, so
Yeah.
I had to kind of sauce him up a little bit.
Yeah, obviously. bring the
So had to
crossover
go
up.
through the one guy's legs, crossed over the next, got the layup. So immediately the guy on the other side is like, okay, we're playing.
So disrespectful.
So next possession, I get it. He's playing hard on me. I fake one way, come back, and we fucking play a game of whack fuck. I just whacked him in the head. He went down. And immediately I'm like, oh shit, I hit him hard. Like I felt it, and I'm like, oh, that definitely hurt. So he's down on the ground, and I'm like, oh, I better check. And I'm like, oh, I could feel inside my head. That's probably not good. So I look,
Wow.
I'm like, oh fuck, I'm bleeding again. So just smash it open.
Kyle comes
And-
back to the birthday party with a bloody
Yeah.
head, and everyone's like, it's a fucking horror movie. Run!
This is a surprise guest. But yeah, right after it happened though, I'm like, I was sitting there watching them, and they kept playing ball for quite a while, and I'm like, man, I wish I could play a sport and just for fun. Like there's no real competition. They aren't great at it. They're all just like, oh, we scored 3 missed the
They're
layup.
just trying to bond with each other, and you're
Yeah,
like, I'm gonna
right.
fucking win
There's-
this.
there's no sport.
Fucking losers are going down.
We go to the gym to play badminton, and we're diving. Like,
Yeah, no, like,
we
we've-
keep score every time.
We have never been able to just play for fun.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
always like we're out for blood at every
Oh
opportunity.
God.
I'm incapable of it.
Like badminton was so competitive with us, and there would be like 4 or 5 of us, and we would reach badminton every week because we have a score to settle every
Yeah.
fucking week.
You finish
Wow,
a game and you're wiping sweat off your eyes. You gotta
Right?
like get a new shirt.
Legitimately
intense.
diving. Like it was.
Nice. I mean, you got to
heated.
play hard, right? But
Yeah, we're
there's-
just
there's a
like
level you
hyper
should cross.
competitive.
Okay, fair.
I wish I could turn it off sometimes.
Same,
they-
because
like,
I
I get competitive sweeping. Like if I notice somebody else is sweeping at a little bit faster pace, I have to stay with them. Like if they start
Oh,
pulling away,
man.
I'm like, well, this is fucking embarrassing. Like nobody else gives a shit. But
True. I feel like for me, the competitiveness is a little annoying because it alienates people that don't really care about what we're doing. Like, oh, like you want to play a game of something, and then I'm like going fucking hard. You're like, cool, this is fun. Are you good? Like, relax. Or like, Hope always laughs at me because there was this one time we went on a date to this like board game like restaurant, bar, cafe, whatever the fuck.
Oh, in
you wanna call it.
Vancouver.
Yeah.
Yo, that place is
It's like
sick.
Stormcrow or something. like that.
Yes!
Yeah, it's dope. It's
Yeah,
one of
it's
the
good.
coolest places in
Yeah, it's
Vancouver.
decent.
Anyways,
sorry, Stormcrow. It's just like a bar that you have board
Just
games everywhere.
full of board games.
everywhere.
That's
full of
sick.
It's
Yeah.
crazy. It's one of the coolest places in Vancouver
Yeah.
for sure. And they've got like video game memorabilia all over the place, like the whole place, like even like the food and beers and stuff is like named after like references. Like
Nice.
they could go to 1,000. But yeah, really cool spot. Anyways, we were playing a game and it's all jokes, like, I'm there, putting on my moves, whatever. Except as soon as things start not going my way, all of a sudden I'm like, and I'm a lot more quiet and focused because I'm just like, and then like I roll the dice, shit roll. I'm like, that's tough. And I'm sitting here kind of getting frustrated, and it's like her roll gets everything, and I'm like, cool. I'm getting fucking destroyed. And she's like, are you good? Like, we're still here, right? And I'm like, I was so cheesed. And then she said that she started just like losing on purpose because she was annoyed that I was ruining the day.
Yeah.
And I
Taking
was
it
like,
way too
I was
serious.
like, fuck, man, you need to fucking chill. It doesn't matter. And then like, because see, the thing is, when games are like basically chance, like roll the dice or something like that, I'm kind of just like, I'm frustrated, but I'm like, whatever.
Yeah.
But like, there was another time we went on a date. This was even earlier in the relationship. I guess she's dated idiots before, and I'm just like the superior.
Oh, you're superiorly? You're superiorly?
The irony is so tough.
You're saying I gotta work on my reading.
Anyways,
This guy.
so she was like, let's play Connect 4 because I have this giant Connect 4 setup. And I'm like, you don't really want to play me Connect 4. I'm nice, you know? And so she's like, you know, it's a child's game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no way it doesn't end in a draw. It's like tic-tac-toe. If you lose at tic-tac-toe, it's like, were you really trying?
Yeah.
Because
Did it
like,
on purpose.
there's only one way to do this with reasonable thought, and it's a draw.
Yeah.
Anyways, I was kind of like, you know, playing it lax, but naturally played her into my hole, and I won.
Yeah.
I won like 3 times. She get pissed off, and I was like, yes. I told you weren't gonna win.
Everything's better now.
But as much fun as I had winning, still ruining the date, Dustin. So it's like, not everyone is as competitive as me, and I usually ruin things when people aren't.
Yeah.
So I think I need.
You're going
to
from
chill.
a poor loser to a poor winner.
Well, I'm not a poor loser. I'm just a logistic.
He's a
fair
poor winner. He's the
think so.
poorest of winners.
I'm just
Yeah.
more of a realist and an analyst when I do lose, so I understand why, and I can tell you why I lost. And it's usually
And you're
not,
going to let everyone know.
well, it's
this
not a
is
result
why.
of my skill. Usually, it's usually just unfortunate circumstances that I had to overcome.
Yeah. Oh, do you remember that video we
fucking
found
guy.
of FIFA? It's like, I'd like to give absolutely no credit to him. He did absolutely nothing to win this game. It was all my fault. I made all the mistakes. He's dog shit. He's terrible. You notice his girlfriend called me right in the middle of my play? Did you notice that?
That video is so old, but so good. Okay, Matt, your week.
Oh man. I don't know. It was uneventful. So I went over to a buddy's house. I was going to help him build a woodshed. And he's fucking like, I get there and he's just fucking winging it. Like he watched a video online. It's like, I didn't bother to watch the video because I saw the picture of it. I'm like, okay, yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
So I get there and he like watched this video, but then he decided to like double the entire dimensions of it. So it's like a
Okay.
10 by 10 woodshed. He's going to make it 20 by 10. And he's got
Okay.
like scrap wood everywhere. So I get there and we're like trying to piece all this shit together and it's fucking not working at all. It's like 9 o'clock at night and we're still nailing shit and like
It's dark out.
yeah. We're like using headlamps and stuff. The fucking boards, because it's been sitting under his deck for like a long time, are like warped
Yeah.
and shit. So we're like nailing things. It's like corked to fucking shit. So we're like screwing it in after. So it gets to this point where I'm like, okay, this is fucking stupid, man. So we all
I'm
go
still
inside.
laughing about the sun being down at 7:30. It's 9 o'clock. Everything's.
It was ridiculous,
You
man.
chose to do this now.
Yeah. Well, and like I don't even want you to assume that we got far. We're like working on like the outer like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces of wood to make a perimeter. Like that's what we're still working on. So it got to the point. It's like this is kind of stupid. So we go back inside trying to drop some blueprints, and it's like, okay, like we're trying to figure out what the fuck to do here.
Yeah,
Like,
what are
making a
we doing
shed
here, guys?
Is pretty easy, but it was like, okay, like you're this shed is fucking huge. It's huge, and
Yeah.
you're using scrap wood.
That's a room.
Yeah, it was a mini house on the side of his house, and it's just for like wood and shit, right? But yeah, so I ended up like going on Buddy's computer, doing like computer design and like designing fucking board by board on a fucking computer to build this like massive mansion shed. And it took about like 3 hours for us to do that. But it was kind of cool because at that point we're like, oh yeah, and like maybe we'll just change the angle of his roof just a tiny bit more. But yeah, so it was it was cool.
And
So-
now it's 12 o'clock, and you're like, so should we get started?
yeah, basically. So yeah, then we wake up or go to bed, wake up the next morning, and then yeah, it was like around the afternoon that we actually start working on it, kind of thing. But I mean, we're almost done it. I can show you guys some pictures later.
I mean,
But it's
that's
gonna be
pretty
like
awesome.
it's like massive, and it's gonna be so nice. But I feel proud now because it was like it went from like just showing up to him winging it, and it's like, dude, you don't know what the fuck you're doing. This is ridiculous. We can't build a shed like this.
It needs to be 6 feet. Just break it on your leg.
Yeah,
Put it
fucking-
in there.
Yeah, so it was a
Wasn't he
proud
glad
moment being
that-
able to computer design this fucking perfect
Right?
shit, like perfect down to fucking every inch. It's like,
Right?
yeah.
Just make sure you bring your protractor so you don't fuck up the
Yeah.
angle.
Yeah.
You don't want to make that cut a couple inches too long, a couple
Yeah.
inches too short.
Yeah, no, it turned out good. It's looking really nice.
Nice,
So
Nice. There you
yeah,
go.
We'll see. That
Bob
was
the builder.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah. That was my week. I was just
Hey.
fucking digitally building a shed, and then yeah, the easy part was physically building it. It was kind of cool.
That's dope. That's dope. Didn't do much, just working. Last night was kind of funny. There was this kid. These 3 guys come in, all like 19 or 20, and it was like 10:50, and they're like, "Let's get like a round of 3 drinks each," and I'm like, "Okay, whatever, 3 drinks each." But then they like finish that real quick, and they're like, "Yeah, we'll just get like another round." I'm like, okay. But the one guy, he was like the DD, so he stopped after that. So it's just the other 2 now. That's what I laughed at too. He's like, no, I'm the DD. I was like, oh, okay.
I can only have 3 in the next 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, I got my moral.
Yeah. Anyways, then it's like 20 minutes later, they've polished off the next 3, and I'm like, okay, like they need to stop. Like
Yeah.
this is already too much.
Yeah.
And then for the next like half an hour, they were only ever there for like a full like hour or so, and in like that hour or so, like the kid, I'm literally telling him like, you can't have any more. Like you're chilling. He's like, no, like he's a DD. Like I'm fine. I'm like, do you know how many times I've heard that?
Yeah.
Like
There's a science behind blood alcohol.
he's like, no,
content.
he's gonna get me home. I'm not worried about you getting home. That's great. I'm worried about you puking on my shit.
Yeah.
And I just said that to him. He's like, oh. But then the thing that killed me was he thought, instead of just like being like, okay, like maybe I'll like get some food or something. Because I said, like, if you get some food, like maybe in a little bit we can talk, but like you need to stop. Like you've had way too much in such a short period of time. Like if you go at this rate, you're gonna die.
Yeah.
Like
He's a functioning alcoholic, bro.
right. But like instead of just being like, okay, like yeah, maybe I'll get some food, he was like, whine, man. He starts crying like a baby, just whining. Promise, I'm good. Like, come on. And I'm just like, dude, stop. And like the girls that are
Wow.
nearby are just like, what the hell is he whining like that for?
Wow.
It was so embarrassing. I'm like, that is the worst strategy to get more booze, is
Yeah.
to whine like a 6-year-old. Like, this guy, like he's just trying to get screwed up and go home. And he still, like, after I ended up cutting him off, and he was like, KK, I'm gonna get him. I'm like, you're not getting him anything because you're both
Yeah.
done right now.
Were these kids like 19, 20?
Yeah,
Like,
1920,
Yeah.
like fresh. And then eventually they just got bored because I wasn't giving them anything. They weren't interested in ordering any food. I was like, you need to get food. He's like, I got food at home. I'm good. I was like, I don't care if you have food at home. You've got nothing in your system. You're gonna die.
Yeah.
He was just, and then this guy, yeah, they started pouting a little bit more. Eventually, they just bailed them and they left. And I'm like, you guys are idiots.
Just going to the next bar, man.
Right? Exactly. Like
Yeah.
some of these younger kids, I'm like absolutely reckless.
I've
I've
been
been there.
there.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
Fair enough.
Did I
Fair enough.
Did I ever tell you that first time I went drinking at a bar, it was they had King Kong shots were on
Oh
on
God,
deal.
I remember those.
Oh,
I didn't even know
no.
what they were, but I was like, oh well, I guess if it's cheap, so I got one. It tastes like bananas, so I was
Yeah.
like, okay, I'll just drink these all night, not thinking about the fact that it's just a shot of alcohol. That's it.
Yeah.
There's nothing else.
Nothing to
so
sip on, nothing else to dilute it, just booze.
Yeah.
good. I don't know how long I was even there. I just remember throwing up in the bathroom and
Yeah.
my mom having to walk down the street, come get me from the bar and walk me home.
Nice.
Yeah. When I was
Nice.
I used to be a bartender up at a ski resort, and like, all night, every night, people come up. What's the strongest, best drink you have? Fucking King Kong, because it's like half whiskey, half banana liqueur. So it's like you have that slight taste of the strongness, but then it also sweet, and then it's like, yeah, it's
Nice.
yeah, it
It
was
gets
easy to
you
give
bad.
people. Everyone's like, "Oh, cool! That sounds so cool." It's
I
like,
like
yeah,
King
it's a
Kong.
fucking kid drink.
Yeah. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
And then yesterday though, or sorry, the day before that, I was so butthurt. Like I was so salty. So I'm driving home and I'm thinking to myself, let's order some food and we'll pick it up on the way home and I'll go eat at home. And so I'm on skip the dishes and I'm looking at the pickup option just because it's easy to place an order through the app. But then I'm like, oh, I'm kind of driving. This is a little dangerous. I'll just wait till I get home and then order it for delivery. Fuck it. I don't care. Well, then I get home, decide on food, order food. Half an hour later, I'm like, yo, where the fuck's my food? What the
Oh
fuck?
no.
And I go look and it's still set for pickup. And
Oh
I'm like,
no.
now I'm pissed. So I get my car and I start ripping across town to go get the food because, of course, I didn't order from somewhere close by. It was like a 10-minute drive, which I know that's not that long, but still, I was pissed. And so I'm on my way down there. I get my food. I'm storming back. I'm just brooding the whole time.
Yeah.
It's like, And then some fucking guy, because like I'm already going relatively quick because I'm like pissed. Some guy fucking cuts me off and lays on the brakes. I'm like, fuck. And I lay on the brakes and all of my food in the passenger seat into the foot of the car. And I'm just like,
Oh no.
I was steaming. And then so I get home and I look and my eggs literally looked like bird shit. Like they were everywhere. And I was like, of course, this is the day I got eggs.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
was
man.
so pissed. I was fuming. But we recovered. I mean, we ate it anyway. It didn't make a difference. Like, I don't know. We're lying
I mean,
to.
like we took that day off the diet.
Yeah.
You can't
So-
go back.
So.
And that sucks because you just got it detailed, didn't you? Yeah.
Well, no, it was in the bag still.
Oh,
in the bag,
okay.
yeah.
I thought you meant it just
Oh,
split
no.
it all over the car.
I
I'm
mean,
like,
that would be next level.
that's
cheese.
real tough.
I would be pretty angry. But
Fucking
no.
ripping out the other guy from his car. Look what you fucking did.
Motherfucker.
Lick it
Yeah.
off.
Lick it off.
And then pay me for it.
Oh no. But yeah, so that was pretty much it.
Man.
We got some current events to talk about today, guys.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Lulu Lemon.
What's going
Not
on
for
with
the
Lululemon?
obvious, but Lululemon, they signed on for the next 4 Olympics to be the new apparel brand, which I think it's kind of monumental. I was talking to you about it that the Hudson Bay company has been it for whatever.
That's
and
been the fucking Canadian
yeah,
company.
it's been since the beginning of
Yeah.
Canada.
They used
Now,
to
is
trap
this-
beavers, man.
Is this like all of the Olympics or just Canadian Olympic team?
Yeah, for Canadians. It's
Okay.
applying Canadians. Because before it was Hudson Bay, like
okay.
classic Canadian tuxedos and shit like that, right?
True.
So now they're switching over to Lululemon.
Yeah, so that they
Kinda
can
getting
actually
with the
look good.
times. Yeah. Yeah.
Now the girls are gonna be like, oh, I got more clothing on, but like, fuck, it looks like I have less. I don't know.
Oh no.
But
Yeah.
but the really cool part about what they're doing though is 10% of all their sales for the Olympics is going to the athletes that are participating in that the whatever
huge.
Olympics that they're doing.
Yeah, that's
So
a
that's-
big percentage.
Like, because they don't. Obviously we've talked about it ad nauseum, but like the top level athlete, they can get their sponsorships, endorsements, but everybody else is just doing it for the love of fucking hammer throwing.
Yeah.
Like they're just doing it for whatever feel. But now if they can get a little bit of money, that also might help people put a little bit more effort in. Because obviously they train hard, but if they have money to train
Yeah.
hard for a full week instead of
that's
2
cool, that's
days and then
cool.
go to work right after. So I think that's pretty sick.
Yeah, it's cool that it's still a Canadian company too, right?
Yeah.
Switching from one to the other. I get it. And I don't even know if like Hudson Bay is like fucking not even Canadian, I don't think anymore. I'm pretty sure they got bought
It's
over
not.
now.
It's old.
It's a boomer
we're
fucking
past it.
company.
We're
Yeah, no one
past
gives
it.
a shit about there. No one goes there except for old people. Like
Yeah, they don't even have tights. fuck do we need you? They got baggy pants.
Clearly,
still.
the only
Yeah.
thing Kyle cares about.
Honestly.
I think it'd be good too because obviously, like Lulu's got like proven athletic wear
Yeah.
versus like Hudson's Bay that like I don't even know what their brand is because they just resell every other brand when you
Yeah.
go into the
Yeah. They
Hudson's
don't
Bay,
have
so-
it.
yeah, it's like Sears, man.
yeah
just sell
They
shit.
sell Canada. They're like, we're Canada, so buy it. That's
Yeah.
all they have.
right.
That's Tim Hortons only marketing.
Yeah.
It's Canadian. Yeah, Canadian over here.
Tim
you gotta buy
Hortons
from
is
us.
the worst coffee there is. It's by far
Give it to
it's
us,
worse
pal.
than McDonald's. It's worse than Starbucks. It's worse than like the fucking gas station from 7-Eleven. That
Cup
Van
of Joe?
Hoot. The Van Hoot.
Van Hoot.
It's much better than Timmy's, but Timmy's is $2, and everybody's like, "Oh, it's Canada. We got to support." Fuck Timmy's.
Yeah,
Timmy's,
well,
you can't
it's
even get
also
food from them.
it's owned by like a Brazilian hedge fund company. So
Yeah.
it's the Brazilians going, "Oh yeah, just brand it Canadian." Then the fucking Canadians
Yeah.
will buy it, right?
It's smart.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
they don't expand too far. They don't go to the States, so they don't have to actually have any real competition.
Yeah.
And then Dunkin', they probably have some fucking backdoor like handshake with Dunkin' Donuts. Don't come over here. We can't fucking do that. Like we can't have 2 coffee and 2 donut spots.
We already have
can't.
to deal with Starbucks everywhere.
Yeah. And like Starbucks is like, I'm fine with spending $7 to not go to Timmy's. That's it. I'd give you $7 just to get me a coffee from anywhere else.
Oh boy.
Fuck that. I'm not spending that much money on a coffee, man.
That's tough. Another thing I wanted to talk about was Facebook and Instagram, since they're the same thing. announced that they were pausing their plans to create Instagram for kids. Now, they said they weren't getting rid of the idea indefinitely, but like it's probably still coming. They're just not going to do it right now. Now, the question was, is Instagram for kids even a good idea? And basically their process was basically having a place to have a tailored experience to younger Instagram users who are already on the internet, but having an experience tailored to them to make it more safe for parents to be okay with their kids using the platform. What are your thoughts?
Okay, so YouTube has YouTube for kids,
Mhm.
and it's a fucking just a shit show. There was like legit like child porn, or not child porn, but like softcore porn everywhere on YouTube for kids. Like
That's fucked up.
Spider-Man's having sex with Elsa and they're like dry humping each other and stuff. But
Ew.
it's like in the deep like recommended videos, so the kids just keep pressing and pressing and pressing, so it gets deeper down that YouTube rabbit hole.
Ew.
And then all of a sudden it's just like fucked up things, but there's no reference to it in the videos ever. Just all of a sudden happens, and then just the next video happens. So these kids are watching these fucked up scenarios where they have no idea what it is, and they just assume that's normal because it's like, oh, Spider-Man, Elsa, they're touching each other. That's normal. And then it goes to the next video, and they never tell their parents about it because they just assumed it was a normal thing because they saw it online. And it's like
That's so-
fucked up.
That's so weird.
Yeah. So like, how are they gonna keep that from happening? Right? It's
Ew.
it's a slippery slope.
I'm glad you said that before I started talking because I was thinking of Disney Plus because they have a kids option and it's perfect. You go to the kids and now nothing from like they have Star and National
Yeah, that makes
Geographic.
sense because it's
They
like
get rid of it.
curated.
Yeah,
Right?
That,
Where like
that's
this
where
is
I
like
didn't think about.
yeah,
that you can
user
upload whatever you want.
generated. So how are you going to maintain the user base, right? Like how are you going to keep people from pretending to be kids posting like things that an algorithm wouldn't be able to necessarily catch, but you can just post fucked up things.
Right?
So and then also like what about the like button? Like the like button is what's causing huge like anxiety in children these days. Kids
getting
at a
enough
young
likes,
age.
yeah.
Yeah, like have you guys seen The Social Dilemma, the documentary?
I've seen part of it.
Just talking about like how serious it all is and like how the algorithms are like literally designed to do that, and machine learning programs are like, even the people who make these machine learning programs, they don't actually know how it works. They just input data, and then the data gets like filtered through these programs, and then from there it basically it just decides for itself. So they don't even really know how any of this works. So all of a sudden they're just going to make a safe version of that when they don't know how.
Yeah, that's basically like what everybody's biggest fear with AI is that they're going to be autonomous, but it's already autonomous and it's controlling everybody.
Yeah.
Because like
Yeah.
for me, I find myself sometimes I do get stuck in that where like I'll tweet something or I'll post something and like I'll be like, hey, I'm gonna put my phone away, and like a minute later I'm like, I wonder if I got a like. I better check because I
Well,
turn
it's
off all my
designed like that.
notifications.
Yeah.
and I still notify myself.
My phone has a radar. When I put my hand over it, oh, probably because that's out of the way. But when I put my hand over it, it kind of like it lights up and it tells me if there's any notifications and everything. And like it's so sensitive that even if I have it like over there and I'm working on my computer, if I like look at it, it'll light up.
Yeah,
And
if
it's
mine
fucked up.
notices
wants you to
my
look at
face, it just turns on.
Yeah, exactly. So it's fucked up. So
It's terrifying.
it really, really is.
The thing with the Instagram for kids, though, that also is highly concerning is, you know, if you think about Instagram at its state right now, you know, there's kids on there, obviously, that are probably too young to be there.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
there's obviously predators online that are looking
For
for those
sure.
kids. Now, if you see a profile, now, if it's one of those ambiguous profiles that has no posts or has a bunch of posts about bullshit that means nothing,
Mhm.
you might be like, is it a kid? I don't know. Is it not a kid? I don't know. You don't really know. But if you're basically putting all of these kids into one fishbowl, you're going in and you know you're talking to kids.
Yeah.
And now you got the creeps
Yeah.
out there.
Mhm.
And I feel like it really depends on how they do it. Because the way that it's been described, at least to me, was that it would literally be like its own app, own users, something like that.
That makes sense. Yeah, I would assume so, I guess.
But I would think if they're really going to do this and have it be safe, I don't think that's the way. I think it would have to be something more in tune with filtered things, kind of like how you mentioned Disney Plus, where like if I see a profile that's private, it's private. I don't know who they are. I can't talk to them, whatever. Now, is that just a private person or is that just a kid? Because if the kid has Instagram for kids, like a kid's account, then he would just see Instagram, what he's allowed to see, and everything else would be, he would have a private account that's locked to the outside adult
Yeah.
population, which I feel like would have to be the only way. because like if I can tell the person's like if I'm a predator and I can tell this person's a kid, I'm gonna try and engage them if
Yeah.
that's what my motivation is. But if I can't tell if that's an Instagram for kids account or if that's just a generic private profile, I'm probably less inclined to pursue that person because I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah.
So I just feel like how you go about it, you're really setting kids up to be almost like, here they all are,
Yeah.
which is gross and scary.
Well, there's like potential for like, so facial recognition is pretty advanced nowadays. Most phones have it. Even if phones don't have it, there's ways of doing it. So it could even be something where like, in order to make an account, you have to take a picture of your face and prove that you're a child. But then that goes into like child safety laws of like, you're putting your child's data out there when they don't even really realize the implications of that, how important that actually is, right? So
yeah.
that's I'm curious to see what happens with that. So you said that they're just putting it off on the side for now? Or?
Yeah, because I guess there was like a decent amount of backlash. People didn't think it was a good idea.
Yeah.
But then sounds like they're just saying like they just have like other priorities. They don't think it's a bad idea and they're gonna stop doing it. They just aren't gonna do it right now.
Huh.
And I'm
So
like,
I wonder
okay.
if on the flip side of it, because of the whole OnlyFans maybe getting rid of porn and stuff, if they create a site for an Instagram for kids, the adult one, they might be more lenient on what they allow. Like they might be like kind of their idea is that like different like you can get on like Twitter, anything goes pretty much. Like there's porn, there's everything.
Like if you're looking for it, you can
And
find it.
Instagram,
On Twitter, really?
yeah, it's like you could post anything on Twitter.
Huh.
It's
Especially
kinda
like
crazy.
you'll find it pretty easily if you look up like
Yeah.
girls that have OnlyFans. They'll
Yeah.
promote their OnlyFans and they'll just
Jeez.
the
Yeah,
why did-
Taliban's on Twitter.
Yeah, why
Like-
did why did Donald Trump get banned then?
Because he's not a nice person. He locker room talked outside of the locker. He's
Anyways.
he's problematic. But but I could see them possibly going for that. Like if they create a kids version now, instead of they're completely fine with girls wearing just a string over the nipple and a string over, they don't need that over the nipple anymore. Like they'll be
I
like,
don't think they
okay,
would
you
do
can get rid
that.
of that. You can get rid of swearing because now
Yeah.
we're all adults on here. We don't have to worry about children, and it takes that out. I don't know that that's what they're actually going for.
Yeah, I
but-
don't know.
Maybe. You never know.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I'm not sure.
Another news story that I thought was funny that I wanted to hear your guys' opinions on. College professor out of NYU describes the upcoming mating crisis, as he calls it, saying that more men are not going to school and opting to go to high-paying jobs that require physicality that women don't have access to. More women are going to college to try and get a better job. And he says that college women that are educated have higher probability of not wanting to mate with uneducated men, therefore leaving more men lonely and, salty, bitter, angry. And he says there's nothing more dangerous in the world than angry, lonely men. And I was like, I mean, kind of got a point, but like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, okay. I have a couple of things. Basically, so first of all, a lot of people, like Elon Musk included, is pretty confident that there's probably going to be like a population crisis within the next like decade or so, because people just aren't fucking anymore. People aren't really having kids. So a lot of people even theorize that America is already in the middle of that. We just haven't really actually noticed it yet, right? But with that, labor jobs are in demand. Like the boomers are kind of either dying or retiring, and you need those labor jobs quite a bit more. And I feel like there's been this push for women to be as equal as men for the longest time. And I feel like that's a ridiculous conversation because we're different for a reason. And to come together as a team, two people need two different strengths. And to have two people having the exact same strengths, it's kind of odd. But because women have been pushing this for so long, and which is their right to do so if they choose to do that, 100% they're allowed to. But because this has been going on for so long, I really can see it as this like high-tech jobs are going to be like more of a woman's role, and then men are going to be doing the heavy labor stuff because it's going to be in demand and it's going to be an easy cherry to pick. So all of these men and boys are just going to go off and just start doing these low-level labor jobs, still getting a good living wage, but it's just going to create a new type of like class separation and a different type of hierarchy within the next generation, right?
Okay,
And
I hear you.
And for me, I think if I'm a woman, I go to school, I get this high paying job. I want a guy that's got a labor job because he's gonna be fine with staying home. He doesn't want to fucking be at work. I like nobody that works in construction is like, oh, I'm gonna do this till the day I die happily. No, I'm gonna go home and do it at my house because I got a wife that fucking brings in the bacon. I'll watch the kids. I'll do what like I don't. Why would you want somebody else is doing the same things and neither of you go to work?
So then, if that happens, then there's a shortage in the labor jobs. So then they have to increase the pay of the labor jobs. Then all of a sudden, then the men go back to work. So then they can't afford to even have a relationship in the first place. And then boom, it's right back to the same.
If you got money, you always have time to make a relationship. You can make that work.
I mean,
but I hear what you're saying.
There's this one episode of Wife Swap that I watched where the guy, like the woman made a lot of money and she got put in a house where the dude was like, no, I make the money. I just want you to wear makeup and make food.
Oh, God.
And I'm like, guys like that exist.
It's fucked.
I don't know who they are, but they exist and
yeah.
they're fucking weird to me. So I agree with what you said, Kyle. Like if my girl made a ton of money and I got relegated to being the stay-at-home parent, cool. I'll do it. No problem. No questions asked. If that's the best move, she's got a better job.
Lego all day.
Yeah. Like I don't give a fuck. Like, but some guys out there don't think like that. And that thought process is probably, I would speculate, probably more likely in more blue collar type people who are the people doing those kind of jobs. So
yeah, well, it's like a validation. They're putting their bodies and their souls into this work and earning money for it. So why the fuck should they allow someone else to make more money when they're putting all of their effort into this one thing? And it's like, well, you either get paid for your brain or you get paid for your body, right? And there's two different things.
Absolutely.
So when you put everything into one thing and then there's someone that you're in a relationship that's just doing better for supposedly doing less, that's a stab at your manhood, right?
Well, absolutely. And it's definitely more of a conservative type view.
I think so.
That you want to enforce gender roles, that you're the provider and stuff like that. There's still a lot of people that subscribe to that. Like it's not like they're the minority. It's like there's a good population of people that think like that, just as much as there's a good population of people that don't think like that. So it's it's not even like fair for me to say like those people are weird and there's only a few of them. There's a lot of them.
Well, I feel like it's like racism in the 60s or like 70s maybe, where it's like, no, that wasn't the right thing, but it was just so standard that it was just, you kind of were raised like that, so then you thought like that, and then you raised your children like that, and that's just the way it was, right? Where it doesn't necessarily have to be like that, but we're just so used to it.
For me, I had this talk with Brittany the other day. I guess one of the ways that I show love is by sacrifice. Like in my mind,
That's your love language.
Yeah, my love language is sacrifice. So when like we go to eat dinner and somebody forgets a drink, I'll go grab it. Or this needs to be done, I'll grab it. You finish eating the hot meal, I'll come back, and that's just a normal thing that if she were to miss that part of the meal, I would feel bad. So I'm gonna miss it. I'll feel fine. If I cook a steak and one of them's a little bit bad, I'm gonna eat that one. So for me with work, that's where I want her to eventually be able to be at home so that she doesn't miss anything with the kids. Because like I'm willing to sacrifice things to make sure that she can see them. I want to be at everything I can.
Yeah.
But I don't want to be there more than I want her to be there.
Yeah, that's such a
where
good
the
thing to bring
kind
up.
of gender role for me is that I want her to be able to be the mom that does everything she possibly can, and I can be the dad that once in a while they get mad at me because I'm not around, and that's better than them being mad at her.
Yeah, I agree in a lot of ways because I would say I'm very much the same way. I tailor my life mostly to take care of my partner, and as long as they're okay, then I'll think about myself after that. I guess not necessarily a disagreement with you, but a disagreement with the kind of ideas that we're talking about is that I don't do that because my partner's a woman. That doesn't have anything to do with it at all. And I guess if your motivation is based off the gender role, that's where I think you're caught slipping. Whereas if your motivation is just to take care of your partner, I don't give a fuck.
Well, if she was a man, she'd be at fucking work. No, she's going to fucking work. You can work right beside me in construction. I don't give a shit. You ain't staying home.
Oh, jeez. Moving on. We had this. What's this coin situation you were talking about?
Okay.
Is this America's trying to make a coin?
This is in America. So they've been talking about this for a little while.
America
So I haven't
Bezos.
I did a
Bezos. Yeah.
I looked into this quite a while ago, and I just happened to see it in the news, so I haven't had time to like fully research into it yet. But so they're talking again about creating a coin that's worth $1 trillion. And basically because the U.S. debt crisis, there's like a debt ceiling crisis. Like there's just too much debt, and they don't know what to do about it. So they're
keep
just
printing more.
Yeah, well, it's not even like they're just like passing off the printing part, and they're just gonna make this coin and go, all right, everyone, this is worth $1 trillion, and it's now in our bank account. And then boom, there's just an extra $1 trillion for a surplus or something, so that they can go and keep lending out more money. So with that, there's like nothing really stopping them from making a $100 trillion coin. Like there's nothing at all. If Biden were to approve a $100 trillion coin, it would probably get him impeached, and there would be some consequences, but there's nothing stopping them at all.
He wouldn't even
right?
know he got impeached. He'd just fucking show up with his apple juice and keep talking.
Yeah, so I think it'll happen eventually because they've been talking about this for a while now. Supposedly about
coin.
Yeah, so supposedly about a decade, and it would be a commemorative coin. I don't know if it'd be in a museum or something like that. I don't know. I think it's supposed to be.
I'd keep that close at hand. I wouldn't be like, hey, do you mind just holding on to this?
Yeah.
Just keep it in a case near the side.
Heads or tails.
Like, no.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be maybe made out of platinum is what someone talked about, I think. But yeah, it's gonna be fancy, commemorative.
It's like an actual coin.
A physical coin, yeah. Yeah, just to physically represent $1
There's
trillion.
NFTs.
We're at fucking Tim Hortons. Hey, yeah, you got change? Let me take your whole fucking franchise.
Yeah,
worth.
every single Tim Hortons and Starbucks
you go to put
and Dunkin' Donuts, like
You
so
forget,
on.
you
and so
forget
on.
the coin in the shopping cart. Like,
Yeah.
oh shit.
Yeah,
won't that like? I imagine the second that they do that, inflation is gonna go fucking through the roof. You just added $1 trillion,
Yeah,
and then they're sitting here. They're like, we can't afford to have healthcare. Like, how much money would that be? Just make $1 trillion and fucking pay for healthcare.
Yeah,
like if that's
loans
what your
would
options
just be
are.
out the fucking window. Everyone would be getting a loan and everything,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden everything's expensive now, right? As soon as loans are cheap to get, everything gets expensive. That's how it works.
Yeah, that seems asinine.
It's crazy, but
it's been crazy.
They've dug themselves into a hole so deep that there's really no backing out at this point, right? You got to double down when you're.
I guess they're really saving money because they were probably gonna print out $1 trillion, but now they don't have to buy the paper. They don't have to pay the person to press it.
Yeah,
they just make one little coin and switch the numbers on the computer.
Okay, so this kind of ties into a question that I've had that maybe you guys can talk to me about here. Every time we get around election season, we just had the Canadian election like last week. American elections about a year ago by now, year and a bit, almost 2 years actually. We're talking about them just like basically, you said, throwing like $1 trillion into the market to presumably help pay off debts. And now we're talking about countries that are in debt. What is that government, like that national debt? What does it really mean? Because like people always talk about like, oh, this candidate, put us in more debt in his term than the last 3 candidates did in their terms. Like, piece of shit. And it's like, I get that. Like, I get the numbers. It makes sense to me. But like, with the exception of like a few small countries, every single country in this world is in debt by billions of dollars.
Yeah.
So like, does that really make a difference? Like, it's not like that's ever going to get paid off. Like, if America owns, like, I'm making up a number, $50 billion, are they ever going to pay that off? Of course not. They're just going to get more in debt over the years, and the Senate's just going to have to keep increasing their budget to allow for them to be in that.
That also has
debt.
a lot to do with inflation. So that's why, as time goes on, the cost of everything gets inflated. So technically, as the debt builds up and up, it's technically easier and easier to pay off because you need more money to pay. Like it's a hard circle to kind of loop around, but we're in debt to ourselves. We're in debt to our future selves. We're taking money away from our future selves, and then we have to pay it off in the future through inflation and through taxes.
Mm-hmm.
So as this kind of happens, that debt ceiling slowly creeps up, and it's kind of like a give and take thing where the fact that we have the debt there is good for the economy in the sense of like, well, at least we know future generations are going to be stimulating the economy because they kind of have to because they're in debt because of us. So it kind of just keeps happening, right? So the debt ceiling is like imaginary. It's just kind of made up. But
That's-
the more we think about it, the more we realize how fucked up that is. It's
I guess
it's a
it's
weird
just-
thing.
Even that though, like I get that, but like, what does it matter if we're in debt though? Because like you're saying, like
That's all the debt is. We block it off and then pretend it's not there. We say the only time it comes up is at elections, so that you can talk shit about somebody, even though the next guy's going to do the exact same thing, not change a single
Right.
thing.
and
It's just
to
talk.
your point, like one of the biggest knocks on Trudeau is everyone says how much money he spends. And that's, not untrue.
Yeah.
You look at the numbers, it's obviously spending a bunch of fucking money. I mean, everyone, I 100% will agree with this point too. Everyone's saying he wasted $600 million on what? A vanity project? Because what was this election for? Fucking nothing. He calls an early election in the middle of the pandemic to what? He got 2 seats out of it. And we
nobody liked him. Like, I don't even get it.
See, here's the thing. Nobody liked him, but clearly more people liked him enough to get him elected. And we're in the exact same government we were in before. So everyone that's like, fuck Trudeau, there's even more people that are saying in more populated areas that are saying, no, we prefer Trudeau.
Yeah,
So-
well, it has like it's the same reason why Bush stayed in office for two runs in office or whatever. It's because in the middle of an issue, like we're in the middle of a pandemic or in the middle of like the war and stuff like that, people would rather stick with what they know because at least it's that consistent option rather than switch it up. And it's like, well, that candidate might be better, but he doesn't have a track record yet, right?
The evil you know versus the evil you don't.
Exactly, yeah. So it's like, well, I hate this guy, but I'm still gonna vote for him because at least he's here and I know what he's doing. Versus, I don't know what that other person's gonna be doing. Like,
Yeah.
And he was smart about his campaign.
Psychology.
He just doubled down on what he stood for. Like when he started
I'm gonna
saying,
make pot legal twice.
and he made the same fucking promise. Oh, it's gonna be $10 a day daycare. He made that promise last time he was voted in, and now he's making it again. Like, you can't fucking say the same thing.
Well, I mean, like, we can get into an
Yeah,
entire debate about the election and how much people feel one way or another about Trudeau, but like,
I hate them all.
people always talk about how much money he spends. He spent more than the last guy. Yeah, cool. The last guy spent more than the guy before
That's
that
just
because
it.
of
People
inflation.
don't realize that though, right?
The money just
Yeah.
inflates, the number gets bigger, and so
Yeah.
on and so on. And that's great. But what is that? If we're just getting negative, who cares? Like, it just seems like
The
such an irrelevant
Scary
thing.
thing is, once people realize that who cares, there's going to be an economic collapse because literally, who cares? It's all made up. It's printed from nothing. And once we kind of realize how insignificant that fact is, or how significant that fact is, like, it's made up, but I have to pay for it because you're the one printing it, and you get to decide when you're printing it.
That's the
And
thing
that's
with the
my fault.
government is
That's fucked.
we exchange money for goods and services. I buy something off Kyle. He gives me something. We exchange value like that.
Yeah.
The government can do whatever the fuck they want. They run our currency.
Yeah.
So like their internal debt means fucking nothing to them. And I'm just like, why are we even debating who's making a country in more debt? It means nothing to us. And it won't mean anything in our entire lifetime. And if we're in $10 million in debt or $50 billion in debt, we will not notice a single difference in our day to day. So why is that even a point
I think
when it
we
comes to
will
elections?
see there's going to be something happening within our lifetime that's going to be some sort of financial issue, like some sort of collapse on something, because eventually the straw that broke the camel's back, like something's going to happen eventually where it just can't keep going on anymore.
So the Doomsday event in my head, I played a video game that this was kind of how it was based off, and it was about North Korea. They were supplying America with troops, or not troops, for money, for equipment, tanks, their defense, and then America every year they're like, we need to borrow more money to get this. They kept giving them, and then they said, "Kate, this is it. We want our money back," and they said, "We don't have it." So they had set up a fail switch and everything. They turned it all off, took over America, because they had for the last 20 years supplied them with every kind of defense mechanism that they had. And when it was a loan, so they technically still owned it. So they turned it off, took it back, and took over America because America had no defense. So, like, the idea of people talking about China owns most things. Like, a lot of the debt is owed to China. So if, like, I don't know if it's even possible for them to do something like
Well,
that.
then who's
I
China's
assume
debt
that-
owed to?
That's the thing. I don't know if they spend their money. They
'Cause have debt too.
Well, I don't know who they have debt to, but I feel like the debt that this is all
China
speculation.
is the 9th most in debt country in the
Yeah.
world. America's number 1.
Yeah.
Canada's 10.
But that's the thing. If America owes China more money than China owes whoever they're in debt to, because that's the thing. If you supply enough money to everybody else, you can accrue a shitload of debt. But if you come collecting for yours, you're gonna have more money coming
Yeah, but
in.
that's
How do you
then
ever
it
collect?
turns into
And
a game of chess. So let's
this is
say
my thing, I don't
theoretically,
think
I know.
exactly
Let's
China.
play with this theory for a second. So let's say America owes a ton of money to China. China owes a ton of money to, let's say, Australia. It's in America's best interest to become really good allies with Australia, because if that time ever happens, then America's going to go, hey, Australia, these guys are fucking around with us. You got to do the same to us or to them, and they're going to do it to them. And then whatever happens with that, and it's going to be this trickle down effect of world economics of all of these secret alliances are going to pop up into place and go, oh shit, now the world has taken two sides. It's financial Armageddon. And there's not like a world war like we've ever known about. It's going to be a financial war where there's going to be short squeezes that are going to destroy entire countries. And that's going to be the potential of the next third world war. It's not going to be with guns. It's going to be with money and power.
Yeah.
And that's it's very, very possible, right? But
and
you just
that's
got to
the
keep
thing.
digging that hole.
It's probably not going to work exactly how the video game described. Maybe a little bit different, but like that's what like when I think of what happens is eventually somebody has to collect a debt. Like if you owe somebody money and it's significant an amount, they're eventually going to call you like, hey, I'm kind of down on my luck. I need that money that you owe me. And you say no, they're going to show up at your door.
Yeah, but like
So this is
now we're talking
People
about
debt and government debt are two very different
yeah.
things,
No,
so,
100%.
But like I guess that's the ultimate conclusion though, is one day they're going to show up at your door asking for their money, and we have a fucking army too. And everyone
That's
has
why
an
the army is so big, right? That's why
Like-
most of the budget goes to the army, because it's like, yeah, this money isn't made up, so we're going to spend it while everyone assumes it's real, and we're going to put it into our army defenses.
right? And
Because then
now
we at least
Yeah,
got
like the
physical
video
thing.
game said, what if China sent them the defense? They sent them all their military and they just click a button and like, no more military.
yeah, well,
You
that's
never
the thing.
know. I don't
No
know.
one is-
I don't
I
know
just-
that
That's
at
why
all.
Elon's going to
that's
Mars.
way too far.
No one is ever. I just don't think anyone's ever going to actually collect their debt. Like no one's ever going to do it. It's just going to keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Maybe that thing that you were talking about, that internal implosion happens eventually, but like I don't know. It just seems like such a pointless topic to debate on who's better for our like government's national debt. Like who the fuck cares?
Yeah.
Anyways, moving on. 'Cause I don't give a fuck. Yeah, and quick Google search. There's like 5 countries that aren't in debt, and they're so obscure. They're like Brunei and Liechtenstein.
Yeah, because
like
they just don't have money in the
it's
first
just
place.
no one lives there. 'Cause who the
Yeah,
fuck cares?
Yeah.
Anyways, we had a quick update on the Gabby Petito story. I would like to know your quick thoughts on Dog the Bounty Hunter coming out of retirement. This old motherfucker showing up to look for Brian Laundrie as if he is helping at all.
Just publicity, man.
But
Just
like for
fucking
who
trying
though?
to capitalize.
For Gabby or for him though?
For Dog.
For, like,
Yeah.
For sure, publicity
all
for
the
Dog.
people that
like,
watched him 15 years ago on Spike TV. That's
Yeah.
who this
Yeah,
is for.
like-
Yeah.
we want
He's
to
so
click on see his name.
Old and wrinkly and tan, and he still bleaches his hair blonde to have the look. And
Yeah.
I'm like, you're a non-factor. You are a distraction. I just think he's an idiot at this point.
They're gonna
But-
have to like quick cut him to make him run. He's just gonna be slow and just shoot.
like I just think it's such a waste of time.
Yeah.
Kyle,
He's got to make a couple bucks.
Kyle, you had some thoughts on shifting towards some sports topics. You had some thoughts
Ooh.
on fantasy football.
All of football, man. Like I'm balls deep now. I'm fully invested in football because it's the easiest sport to care about. Like you talk about MLB. Do you know anybody other than Otani?
No,
Fucking Vlad Guerrero because he's
That's
on
the one where
Toronto?
they use bats, right?
Yeah. Well, like you need to know an ERA. You need to know football. You need to know, did he catch the ball? Yes. Okay. Did he get yards? Yes. That's it. That's all you need to know. And it's every Sunday. Like for you, because I know you don't watch a lot of sports. If you wanna pick a sport and be able to like easily get involved in it, pick football. It's every Sunday they play. One or two teams play Monday. 1 or 2 teams play Thursday. Who gives a fuck about them?
Yeah.
Watch on Sunday. That's it.
Yeah, you literally pay attention once a week, unlike hockey, baseball, basketball, where there's 3 to 4 games a week.
Yeah.
And like which makes their fantasy sports exhausting because you got to like change your lineups every single
Every
day.
day.
You never know what's going to happen. Someone might be hurt every other day. They're missing a game, whatever. Where football, it's like it's once a day or once a week. You set it at the beginning of the week. You don't look at it. You find out if you won next week. You don't pay attention to it for the rest of the time in between.
Fair.
Or you do if you're that serious about it, you can pay attention and you can have advantages for putting in the effort. But you also can do just fine putting in no effort. And the games, like I said, once a week, you don't worry about it all week, and then game day, you're like, cool, Sunday, game day. Boom, you watch some games, pay attention, and then it's over.
The biggest part about that though is a thing called NFL Red Zone. That's what makes football digestible. So because there's so many teams playing, the red zone is within 20 yards to the other team's touchdown area. End zone. I said the wrong thing. But so anytime somebody reaches there on the red zone, it'll have that team will be playing. You'll be watching their games, and then anybody gets to that point, that's where the most pressure is. The defense has to work as hard as they can because there's a good chance
It's a scoring zone.
Score.
Yeah.
You have a chance of scoring. So you're constantly, every team in the league, the only time you're seeing them is when they're potentially about to score. So I can sit at home.
Oh, I can watch that.
From 10 o'clock to 5 p.m. I can watch people attempt to score in football.
And shave all the fat.
You don't
just live highlight reels.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
That's the best part about it. And then if somebody scores a touchdown that wasn't in the red zone, they'll show you it right away. They'll be like, hey, this just happened. Boom. It clicked on there.
I could watch that.
Super simple.
Turns
And
fat
then back
completely.
to the fantasy. You get fantasy football. You draft your players. None of them you're generally not going to have a bunch of players on the same team. So you're going to kind of know multiple teams. You're going to be invested in different players from every different team. So you actually care about watching those games, especially when it's in the red zone, because you're hoping your guy gets those extra points. So it's super, super easy to digest and get involved in with very minimal effort. And then the last part I haven't got into yet because the funds aren't right there, but Dustin hit the parlay. He started betting last weekend. I don't know if it went too nice.
No,
but I love the idea of betting on it too, because like you said with basketball.
Illegal?
No.
Oh,
It's
okay.
only illegal if you play. Yeah, if you play or you're a ref, you can't bet, but everybody else you can bet whether or not the ref drops his hat in a game. You can bet anything you want.
Yeah. I always thought it was like illegal betting rings. And it's like sports gambling. It's like,
No,
you're
sports
going to
gambling.
jail.
But yeah, a lot of fun. Another couple things that came out of this football world were pretty funny was this guy Jalen Ramsay. He plays for Los Angeles Rams, and they have a little mariachi band that plays with him. He showed up in the game in a mariachi outfit, trying to act cool. Yeah, it was awesome. That was really good impersonation.
That was really good.
Thanks,
And Fox Sports were like, who wore better, him or Django Unchained, who was wearing like a colonial slave era outfit? And I'm just like, oh no. So they apologized and deleted that tweet.
Yeah.
But,
were they like both in ponchos?
well, no, they weren't even remotely the same outfits. Like a mariachi outfit, it's more of a Spanish style thing. And
yeah,
like,
I wouldn't relate those two things
and
at
Django
all.
was wearing it was the picture of him wearing the blue outfit with the white frill. That's just like colonial slave era.
Oh, that.
That's not even close to
I
the same.
I wasn't
different.
picturing that. I thought
Yeah.
like maybe like when he's riding a horse, maybe wears a poncho or something. I didn't think he was wearing a suit.
No, like it's literally this. Like it's just like, here's a mariachi outfit. Hey, it's got similar frill as a slave outfit.
They're like, oh, it's blue.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. It's blue. But like,
All they had
What?
to say was Jalen or Jamie. Did you say Jalen or Jamie? Now it's just Jamie Foxx. But if you associate it, connect it straight to Django, now you're literally talking about him playing as a slave and the clothes he was forced to wear.
I just feel like in this era, it's bad news bears to make any kind of humor regarding slave era.
Yeah, I feel like there's two levels of racism in that. The first one being the fact that that's a racist comment, and the second fact that those are two different races.
Yeah,
and they got it
exactly.
wrong. Like that seems
Exactly.
fuck.
I think that's what my problem is. It's not funny. If it was funny,
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck. If you
really
make a
wasn't that
good
funny.
joke, then it's like you could play on that line, but you're clearly making a joke and you want it to be funny. And if people laugh at it, it's funny. But if you're saying something and all you can think is this kind of seems racist,
Right?
if that's the only thought that's in your head, it wasn't the right tweet.
Yeah, clearly was a bad move, right?
It's a
Like,
swing and a miss,
like you
especially for
said.
Fox News.
like you said, not funny is the biggest part.
Yes.
Not funny at all. And like most people are laughing like, ugh, cringe. Gonna hear about that tomorrow. Like that's pretty
Yeah.
much all it is.
Like if they were wearing the
Wow.
exact same thing, it'd be like, okay, that was risky, but like that's pretty accurate. You can't deny that. But they're not even wearing the
Right?
same thing.
yeah, pretty silly. And there was a college football player at Ohio State. He quit his football team in the middle of the game because he didn't get playing time.
Bitch, man.
And then he tweeted about it, and apparently people at the game said he was like, he like ran on, and then everyone's like, what are you doing? They like waved him off, like, no, go back, you're not playing. And he just like pouted and went to the locker room, and then a coach like pulled him like, come on, like come back. He's
Wow.
okay. And then eventually he just goes back and he just quit. And it's like, you're in the middle of a game. You play for Ohio State, which is a top end school that sends so many players professionally. Why would you waste that opportunity and cry about it because you didn't get playing time yet? You'll get playing time when your time is right. And if your time's not right, you weren't going to fucking make it anyway.
Why did the coach go get him? Like, why would you even go get that guy? Fucking leave him. You're Ohio State. Go replace him.
Yeah.
You've got tons of guys waiting to take that guy's spot.
Yeah.
Fuck that guy. He's not making the NFL.
Yeah.
Like-
To me, it's wild. It's frustrating, especially like knowing like how hard I work to like just be like, because I wasn't that big. Like, I would never be on the same level as these guys, but I tried so hard.
Yeah.
And then you have guys that have the ability to be there, and they're like, I don't feel like it, coach. What? Yes, you fucking do.
Wow,
Shut your mouth and do the work.
Yeah,
like-
Div 1 body with a fucking high schooler's mentality.
Right? Like, there's this show called Last Chance U, which is just like a documentary show following like guys that could go to college and potentially pro. And some do go pro when they straighten their shit out. But this is like they screwed up enough or didn't go to school and failed out enough so that they go to like these shitty colleges that'll like basically hold their hand to the next level. It's infuriating. They don't give a fuck. And they're disrespectful. And
Just
they're
all
ungrateful.
entitled and shit.
They're so entitled.
Yeah.
And they think they're so good. And half of them aren't even that good. Half of them are like pretty good. But like one or two guys are like really, really good that could go pro. And like if they figure their shit out, some of them get a chance. There's a couple guys in the NFL that were on that show. But like most of these guys, I'm like, you wasted your entire opportunity for what? Because you were too cool, because you wanted to go party. Like, it's infuriating. I couldn't even watch the show. I love football, and I couldn't even watch the show because I was stewing mad. So angry.
And save that shit talk
Wow.
for the rec league. Like when you're playing rec, talk as much shit as you want. When you have a chance to make it, like at least ride it out. Be a good guy. They say, oh, you're not NFL caliber. Okay, now you can go to a lower level, talk your shit, and be that guy. Like, just don't do it while you're in the process.
You're not that guy.
Yeah, you're not that guy, bud. You're not that guy.
Ended on a more amusing note. There's a new Super Mario movie coming out, and this cast is loaded. So let's just go over the cast and see how we feel about it. First on the list is Anya Taylor-Joy as Princess Peach. Are you familiar with her? She's a girl that does Queen's Gambit. She was in the movie Split.
I love her.
She's great.
I love her.
I love her too.
Okay, yeah, I'm on board for that one.
She has the best cheekbones in the world.
Yeah, I saw her cheeks and I was like, I recognize them.
No,
I don't know why.
I mean,
but
realistically,
I recognize them.
she's gorgeous, but like
She has such a different
outside
look.
of her physical appearance, I actually think she's really good actress.
She's a cool person.
And the way
Yeah,
she
I
like can
her.
convey emotion and also be kind of creepy at the same time
Yeah.
sometimes.
Yeah.
This is going to be more of a cutesy role, I think, but I just think
she's gonna nail that.
I
I
made
think
about
she's good,
8 minutes of Queen's Gambit and I was bored, so I don't know how.
I really like
I don't
that.
know
I
anything
really
about
like
her.
Queen's
Really good,
Gambit.
yeah.
I don't know anything about her other than what she looks like.
Queen's Gambit fired me up because, and it's strange that you didn't like it because it's a girl that gets hyper competitive in a men's world of chess.
It's because I didn't make it to that part. She was just getting like high in her room or whatever. Like at the very beginning, it's just
That's right
I
when
just
it gets
didn't
Her
good.
like-
getting high in
I
the
didn't
room was
land
her
long enough.
learning how to visualize. Like we visualized the play, she visualized the game in her head, and that's how she visualizes it by doing drugs.
Oh yeah, I'm sure it was good.
It was
People said it.
It's a fucking great
I
show.
just can't watch it.
Our MVP coming in as Mr. Mario himself, Chris Pratt, also known as Star-Lord, because that's the only other movie that's relevant.
Jurassic World.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
fuck
But yeah,
Jurassic
for
World.
sure, Star-Lord.
I think Chris Pratt is fucking hilarious. So how could that not be good?
I'm just gonna say the only thing I know about this is the internet. They want Danny DeVito to be Mario.
Danny DeVito.
And I'm on board for that because that would be fucking hilarious.
That would be
so
so
I think
jokes.
Chris Pratt should not
Well,
be Mario.
Danny-
I think it should be Danny DeVito.
Danny DeVito, like 30 years ago,
no,
maybe he's still too old.
like Danny
He might
DeVito
still be
from
too old in 20
It's Always
2000.
Sunny in Philadelphia.
Oh
That Danny
my
DeVito.
God.
I want him.
That's Wario. Like, what are you talking
Yeah.
about?
Yeah, no.
That's
Oh,
Wario's
come
right.
on. It would be
Okay,
hilarious.
and here's the only knock I have against Chris Pratt in this role. First off, I don't know if this is just a voice acting role or a live action thing. It very easily could just be a voice acting thing, in which case, like, it doesn't really matter what they look like.
I think
or
it
anything.
probably will.
Voice acting, I'm in for live.
I feel like it has to, especially with some of the characters, it has to be just voice acting. But I was gonna say my only knock on Chris Pratt is he's kind of jacked, and I'm like, I don't want
he
my
used
Mario
to be that kind of pudgier guy.
Yeah, but, like,
wouldn't
I
fit it
don't-
now.
He's a celeb. He just has to stop doing steroids for 5 minutes and be fat again.
I mean,
He's
I know
good.
he has to try really hard to stay in shape, but I'm just like, I don't want my Mario to be jacked.
No.
But yeah, either way, I'm pretty sure it's just gonna be voice acting.
I'm
like
sure it would.
That's the only way this would work. If this was live action, be a remake of the '94 version that was a fucking
I
shit
wouldn't watch
show.
that.
No, I would not either. So after that, we have Luigi is Charlie Day, that dude from Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
There we go. That's a good Luigi.
That's a
Yo.
Luigi.
Yeah, all right.
I can
All right.
get behind that
Yeah.
as well.
That's gonna be great.
Right?
Oh, I'm hyped for that. I'm excited for that
Next
one.
one's big.
We have our antagonist, Bowser, a personal childhood idol of mine, Jack Black.
Oh.
Interesting.
Oh, I'm intrigued.
Interesting. I fucking love Jack Black. I've literally looked up to him for so long. Just like his whole demeanor, sense of humor, delivery, the way he even carries himself as an old man online. Like, I just think he's a fucking
so
icon.
I almost can't match that voice to Bowser.
No,
Those are two very different characters. I'm very curious about that.
Well, the
'Cause
next
I
one,
love Jack Black.
I feel
but-
like
the next
Jack
one's gonna be
Black
weird too.
and Chris Pratt, I'm like, they kind of have like their own identities. Like they have to kind of hopefully be able to throw away their identity and just go straight
because
as
like how is
and
Bowser
Mario.
gonna be like? Yeah.
That's the thing.
Like
Well, that's
what?
the thing. We
Excuse me?
don't know how they're gonna do these voices because even Chris Pratt, he's like,
But that's what Jack
He's-
Black does in every role.
I-
That's Jack Black.
yeah,
Come on.
Jack
Yeah.
Black is Jack Black.
Yeah,
I don't know
I-
any of his characters. They're
basically,
all named Jack.
Yeah.
it's gonna be fucking Kung Fu Panda, but he's winning a Bowser outfit.
Exactly.
The next one that I'm the most excited for out of all of these, because I also don't know how this is gonna go. Donkey Kong will be played by Seth Rogen.
Hmm.
Oh.
Someone played a picture of Donkey Kong with Seth laughing, and I was just dying.
Yeah,
He's
that's
like a
what I'm
fag, a
picturing.
stoner. And I'm like, Donkey Kong's like this big bruising gorilla.
I don't know how I feel about that one.
Yeah, I don't know, but I'm excited.
This is gonna be wild.
Right? The next one, I don't know this guy that well. He is playing Cranky Kong as Fred Armisen. I don't
What's
really
he been in?
His top movies on IMDb are Portlandia, Anchorman, Easy A. He was a voice actor in Big Mouth, and he was on Saturday Night Live. Sounds like he's a
comedian.
funny guy.
Do you have a picture? I think I know who that is.
Yeah, a picture of him right there.
Uh,
Oh.
He's
He looks
very,
cranky.
very well known. But
Yeah,
it's all good. He's a comic.
Yeah, I don't know. Then I don't even know who Kamek is, so I'm gonna skip over that. But Toad, Keegan Michael Key. There's no way that's not great.
Oh.
Can you imagine little Toad talking shit to you like Keegan Michael Key? I fucking love that.
Huh.
So I'm all on board for that as well. That's the last one after
That is a stacked cast.
You skipped Sebastian Maniscalco.
Who?
Like the last guy is like one of the biggest comedians around.
I mean, I have to go
Sebastian.
through the entire.
It's all
cast.
good.
I-
It's fine.
I don't know.
He's
IMDb's
playing like
listing-
a nobody, but he's one of the biggest.
Spike.
Yeah, he's playing Spike.
Who's-
He's one of the
is
biggest.
Spike,
comics.
one of Bowser's kids.
I think it's one of those like Bones guys.
Oh yeah.
Okay. I've also never seen a movie that this guy's been in, so I have no idea who he is.
Me neither.
It's all good. He is one of the biggest like touring comics around, but it's all good.
Fair enough. Okay. Well, either way, this cast is loaded.
I'm
There's
I'm
no
intrigued.
way this isn't going to be good, right?
Yeah.
Like,
my
it has
my
to be at that
only
point.
thing is like they never talk in the movies. Like they'll have like the dialogue, so I can't picture any of them like talking.
and that's the thing, because anytime, like, you're right, they don't normally talk, but when they do, weird.
Yeah.
Oh, Peach. Like, it just sounds
Yeah.
fucking weird, and we're all like uncomfortable watching it,
it.
right?
Like,
Like-
that's the only thing I
That's
I
like.
why
can't
I'm not
imagine him
sure.
talking like this the whole time. Like, that just sounds so fucking annoying.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way that's like, it's gotta be, I don't know. It's the recipe for disaster, weird, but amazing at the same time.
So Chris Pratt and Charlie Day, are they gonna have
they've got-
Italian accents? Because like they're Italian brothers.
yeah.
Are they just gonna be like straight English
they've had-
American?
I feel like, I don't remember the 94 version that well, the voices, but I feel like they've had Italian accents in every
They have
iteration.
to.
Yeah,
They
there's
literally
an
have
Italian
to, like-
plumber, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Bowser's gonna be fucking weird.
What do you
Donkey
think, like,
Kong's gonna be high.
It's gonna be like last 10 minutes where they do the iconic "Here we go,"
And,
like
like,
they're gonna
because-
save that till the end.
Right, and because it's like a voice acting thing, like Anya Taylor-Joy is just gonna be a generic female voice. Like there's nothing really like she's just gonna be there. Star power for the sake of star power.
Yeah,
I don't really think it.
that's what it almost seems like. They just load it up so that even if it's not that great,
To make it a selling
they-
point.
so many people are gonna see it anyway, just in case.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's got potential because of the names, but I don't know. That seems dicey. It seems like a dicey concept.
gonna
to go
watch it.
after. I'm gonna watch the shit out of it.
Interesting.
But yeah, I think that's all we got for today, guys.
Yep.
Mhm.
Wrap it up there. Once again, you guys sticking around all the way to the end. Thank you so much. Supporting the channel. Appreciate it. We'll be back next time. Peace.
Take care.
Dose.